the hell was I doing? Hey, blah blah blah, blah blah. Hello everyone! I am the one, the only, the truest Lord Pancake. Except no substitutes or else you'll be stuck with Yamcha as your only trainer forever. That's right, it's gonna be Wolf Fang Fist and Poir's litter box for the rest of your life. So, if you haven't guessed already, we are going to be taking a look at Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2, which, by the way, if you did not already guess that, you may want to evaluate your life just a smidgen there. Anyway, so this game has been out for quite a little while yet, and I've finally decided to give it a look-see, give it a review, to see how it's actually held up since there's such a large online component to it. And we're going to dive right in and start with my thoughts on it. So, to begin, just to familiarize people who may not be familiar with it, Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2 is basically a game where you create your own character and you bring them into the Dragon Ball universe. And the main feature is that you are part of the Time Patrol. Someone's been going around screwing up the timelines, and you, on your own character, have to go back and set right what once went wrong. So it's a little bit more a quantum leap than Dragon Ball. Now, we'll start with the really most basic and important, and one of the most important things is the character creation. So we're going to go into Start Game. We're going to take a look, create a new character here, and take a look at some of the options you get to play with when you create your character. For starters, there are going to be 5 races that you get to select. Earthling, of course. Saiyan, of course. A Majin race, which, that's the strange one if you ask me. Namekians, which they did stay with the canon of there is only one sex in Namekians, so that's cool. And the Frieza race, which, well, it's anybody's guess with that one. Now, in the races that have male or female as an option, each one will actually have a little bit different balance to the power. Like, we're going to be rolling with an Earthling this time, and if we look at the male, his Strike Super attacks are stronger, and the female, her Ki Blaster is stronger. But we are going to roll with a guy this time, so we're going to go with male. And name and voice, I mean, they give you a pretty broad selection of voices. Everything from like the high pitch to a Nappa sounding voice there, and you can of course name them whatever you want, and they even allow for spaces, which is nice. But because this guy is going to be a human, we are going to name him Lady Kriller. You can see where I'm going with this already, I bet. So then we can go back. And appearance. Now this is where things get a little wonky because you're a little bit limited in your customization options. You don't get to go anywhere in between the points for like height and so forth to make fine adjustments. You have 4 points for height, 3 points for body type, and that's really just girth. Aha, yes, I know, phrasing. I mean, hair, you get a pretty wide array to select from. Everything from Chrono Trigger hair to... Where is it? There it is. To Gohan's bowl cut. If you want to sport the worst haircut in Dragon Ball history, you can. No one's going to stop you. But because he's Lady Kriller, we're going to go with Type 10. Now, here's where we also do get some more of the limitation. You can give your character these eyes, which I would love to. I would love for my human to have these eyes. But the problem is, I want Krillin's track marks. And those are tied into the eye types. They're not like a individual customization you can do. You can't do like, they don't have like a scars or facial marks option or anything like that. Basically, anything like a scar or smiles or anything like that is all tied in with like within these presets. So you have a very limited level of customization that you can really do with the characters, and it's more than just a little disappointing. But at the same time, you are getting to pretty much create your own character and bring them into the Dragon Ball universe, which is really, really cool. Instead of having to be Goku or Gohan or Piccolo or any of the other characters, you actually get to create your own character. You get to assign them different movesets, which we'll get into a little bit more with that. It is actually really, really cool. And we are, of course, going to have to go with Krillin's classic nose there. And, yeah, give him that chin because I want to. And give him the biggest ears we possibly can. Now, color, as far as like when you select your skin tone and character color, your hair color and your eye color, that stays throughout the game. You cannot change that without use of the Dragon Balls. And actually, instead of giving him black eyebrows, I'm going to go ahead and we're going to give him neon pink eyebrows because we can. Now, the nice thing is, upper body, this is just your clothing. And one of the cool things with the clothing color options that you have is there is a number of different gear sets you're going to get throughout the game that let you customize the color. And they, by default, they will automatically match up to the colors you select here. But at any point in the game, on the fly, you can adjust those colors to whatever you want. So let's say you don't like the looks of these colors on a different piece of gear. Anytime you want, from the options menu in-game, you can change that color. It does go universally throughout all your gear, so you may end up having to switch it back, which is kind of disappointing. But for some of your gear, unless it's like a character-specific piece of gear, like, you know, Goku's clothes or Deborah's clothes, which you can actually get in the game, for the most part, you're going to have the option to change as you go and customize the look of your character and help make them a little bit more uniquely yours, which I personally am a big fan of. Okay, so we're going to go with this. This looks pretty good. I think we're going to roll with it. So we're going to confirm, and we're going to go, we're again, at this point, going to be getting to another good and bad aspect of this game. Which, oh yeah, one final bit of personalization you can do is, you can choose what starting skill sets you have. It doesn't affect any of like your points or anything like that. It just affects the move set you first start with, which is going to be up close and personal, which will be more strike attacks, which is supposed to be this character's strength, since he's a male human. The key blast attacks or balance between both. I'm going to go for balance between both because I have an idea for this build and I'm going to go with that. And that's another cool aspect is you can kind of say, hey, I've got this preconceived notion of what I want my character to be. Let me work towards that. And you can have your own unique playstyle in the game as well, which is cool. But anyway, here's one of the first things you're going to notice. The game looks really good. The animation looks good. The cutscenes look very much like they are from the anime. They are custom done for Xenoverse 2. They didn't just like pull these from pre-existing resources. But pay attention to the dubbing and the lip syncing.
This is the last time I gaze upon this planet.
It's up to me. I will change the future!
Are you seeing it yet? I mean, it's just like the worst dubbing since the 60s Godzilla movies. Swear to freaking God. And it does pull you up, but I mean, if you look at it, it's freaking beautiful looking. I mean, damn. Looks almost as good as the original series. It's really cool when you get to see scenes like this. Really awesome. But then you get, and it's even with the Japanese version, the syncing is off. But look at that! Frieza!
Why in the hell are you attacking us?
Oh,
So,
good
the
stuff.
legendary Super Saiyan has shown up.
Okay, so we're going to go ahead and skip ahead a little bit to get to the next point. So I'm going to discuss with the game. Back. So first thing we're going to go into really quick is another absolutely awesome aspect of the gameplay. They get like so many kudos for doing this. Is the way gear and movesets works is you have your bag that holds all that stuff is universal throughout all the characters you create. So long as like you have learned a move from a trainer or done the mission to get it, every other character will have access to that moveset. Which means if the quest you did to get it is really, really annoying, or the training was really, really annoying, you never have to do that training again once you've obtained that skill. You can just equip it on the character you want. Really, really great if you have like one character you want to take through and go through all the training, like you have a really high level character and just want to knock out some of those trainings that were very frustrating early on in the game and not have to worry about them again. You've got that covered. Same goes with gear and things like that. So like Lady Curly Hair, brand new character, just made him. So I can go into change equipment, select the equipment I want, and look at all the gear I have to choose from that I can dress him up as. I can dress him in like all of this that got obtained through by questing with other characters and so forth. Really, really awesome. I love that I can do this. It makes things so much easier and so much better. I love it. And the other aspect of this that I think is really, really cool is early on in the game, you get access to create what are called QQ bangs. And QQ bangs are pieces of gear that once you equip them, they will override the stats on all the gear you have. Meaning that you can go through and like put on, let's see, don't really see one that's particularly great. We'll go with this one here. Which, actually, I'll show you here, where it knocks down my Ki Blast supers just a little bit, bumps up my maximum ki, my basic attack, and my health. I have that equipped now, so when I go into this gear, you'll see how it says ineffective when QQ Bang is equipped. So rather than being stuck with, say, an ugly piece of gear that I don't like, that has good stats, I can now dress up any way I damn well please. I want to dress up like Majin Buu for whatever reason. I got that. If I want to run around like this, I can run around like this if I want. I mean, I'm not going to, because I would never do that to you. But yeah, anything I want, I can actually dress up at. I can actually, any gear set I have, I can equip, and I will still have the full support of that QQ Bang without it being detrimental. Very, very nice, I think. Very, very cool they took the time to do that. Okay, so welcome back. Now, as I was explaining with that QQ Bang, I can now have my character dressed up any way I want and have him running around doing whatever I want. And here is my option. Here's what I have decided. He is going to dress up like Chaozu, but wear Grandpa Gohan's mask. Now, the next thing we can do is we can look at our change skill set. And because I selected that keep it balanced, this is the skill set you will start with. And normally you would have to go through training and quests to expand upon this. But because this is like the 5th character I've created, I can go in there and select anything I want for these. But actually, I'm going to stick with Meteor Crash, because that actually is one of the better moves in the game. That is one cool thing about the skill sets is, well, I'm going to go to 2 cool things. You're getting a free bonus cool thing about the skill sets. In this one, each character's skill sets, like each trainer you go to learn, or each skill set that's attached to a specific character, is actually really, really cool looking. They all feel very individual. They feel very, very specific as far as to the characters. They don't feel like generic, like cut and copies of other things. So it doesn't feel like you just have like 5 different Kamehamehas, but they're all just different colors. Evil Explosion feels exponentially different than Kamehameha. Gallic Gun feels very different than Kamehameha. Gallic Gun feels very different than, you know, Masenko, like Gohan's little move. So that's really, really cool. They took the time to make every move feel like it was unique. Now, is every move useful? Not really. And not every character has a great move to teach you either. Hell, even Goku's instant transmission that you eventually learn All I've managed to do with it is instant transmission myself into people's feet as they're kicking. It's like the AI can automatically target right where you're going to appear, so instant transmission is kind of useless. Okay, but what do we got here? Rebellion Spear, Fake Death. Actually, no, we're going to go with one of the best moves in the game, despite the fact that it's utterly ridiculous. You're going to bear with me. We're going to get there. There we are. Dancing para para. Okay, and then ultimate attack, we're going to do a melee justice combo because that is one of the best moves in the game right there. And you know what? I have not done Final Flash as a final move for a while. And evasive skills. We're going to go with Final Pose. Okay, so this is our skill set. All of this is stuff that I've obtained with other characters I can now throw on this guy. So if I want to just do like a quick pickup game and see what it might be like to experiment with a different build, I can do that without having to go through like 10,000 hours of detrimental grindy stuff that I've done 1,000 times before, which is actually one of the few times this game doesn't make you do really samey stuff. Which we will be coming back after I initialize the first initial mission to talk a little bit about the quest structure. So I will see you in a moment, though it might be instant for you. Alright, thank you very much for sticking around and joining with me again. So we're going to take a look at the first quest in the game, and you're going to notice something, especially if you played the first Xenoverse, or if you've watched Let's Plays of the first Xenoverse. This mission is nearly identical, with a less interesting cutscene than the one that was in the first Xenoverse. And you will notice that that is a pattern with a lot of it. There's a lot of very samey, same missions from the first Xenoverse, which is kind of sad because you're actually going to have less less cool moments, less surprises in this game if you played the first Xenoverse. It's going to feel a lot, very much samey. And that's a doubly detrimental problem to this game because it tries to be like an MMORPG almost, but almost all the missions are very short and very much the same thing. You just beat people up. There's no like variety to it. There's no real interesting aspects to it. It's basically rinse and repeat of the same style mission over and over and over again. And when they roll in like the missions where you may not get the piece of gear you need, so you may need to replay over and over again, it can get to be really frustrating and really boring really quickly. And I can say really one more time before it becomes even more annoying.
No matter how much trash there is, it's still trash!
Now, one of the other aspects,
Can I get your help?
big flaws to the game is, the controls themselves aren't bad, but the camera and the tracking are absolutely god-awful.
Your entrance was really darn lousy, by the way. But I suppose we can talk.
Like, you will just easily lock onto a character.
That nasty turd.
It looks like Raditz is currently far stronger than the proper time.
You have to go and defeat Raditz so that you can get any more.
You right? I won't allow myself to die. The entire world bows to me. I only have one more of those left in me. Count, you have to hold him still. Got it. And you, I don't know who you are, but defend me with your life until I'm ready.
Okay, so that's not too bad. It's a little hard to demonstrate in this mission, but like, one, it's very easy to lose track of your character. Two, once you're locked on to an enemy, you completely lose control of the camera. The right stick goes into target switching mode. So like right here, I have no control of the camera whatsoever. Meaning I can get hung up on walls, I can get lost, it can be nearly impossible to actually strike down, find a character to strike them. There's a very terrible camera system that honestly we overcame 20 years ago.
What are you doing?
And it plays the game throughout. Especially if you're fighting grade 8 form people. It is god-awful though. Because you're usually in areas where you've got a lot of like rocks and cliffs to get in the way. You're trying to keep yourself targeted on their face rather than their tail, because the tail is a separate target. And it's just like a perfect storm of everything that's wrong with the camera controls in this game. But those moments don't come up quite as often as you might expect. You usually can work your way around it, but it still happens often enough to get frustrating.
What was that?
Same with
Where did
the other big problem. And the other big problem with the battle system is AI, and not even enemy AI, ally AI. They are constantly doing things that like knock people out of range of your super attacks, or break your combos that you're trying to build up and things like that. You're just in the middle of doing your thing, and then here comes Trunks smacking them with a flying kick thing that sends them 1,000 feet away from you. Like, god damn it. Damn it, Trunks. This is why we don't let you out. This is why we don't let you play anymore. Go away.
That was some handy work. Those moves were...
Okay, we're gonna skip over this real quick, and then gonna go over two more things that I find as weaknesses in the game before we get the final result in here. Trying to be as succinct with this as possible, but there is a lot to say. Like one big thing is they do have like a major online aspect to it. You can battle people online. You can get them to join you online to do things called parallel quests, which are they're supposed to take place in like alternate timelines, and you go back and you do things, and you have certain parameters that, like, you know, if you beat the enemies so fast, you'll get the ultimate finish opportunity where you can fight against a stronger final opponent and things like that. And that's usually where you're going to get a lot of gear and a lot of skill sets. The other thing is you'll have individual trainers to go through. Like, I will try and show you the trainers here really, really quick. Because I think they're on, yeah, their instructors are on the map now. But one of the biggest things about this game, and one of the most mind-boggling design choices for the game, is this right here. You can't fly when the game first starts off. Not in the hub city. You can fly on missions, but you cannot fly in the hub city. Instead, they give you stupid vehicles that you have to ride. And they control terribly, and they just make getting from point A to point B almost worse than it would be without them. And the big problem is that there's no reason for you not to be able to fly. There's like, you don't go to like area A and get quests that are going to be like level 80 because you flew there, rather than just stayed on the ground and only got access to areas that you can ride your stupid little vehicle to. There are no level quest areas. Your quests appear and disappear as you progress through the game. The only exception are the 2 expansions that DLC expansions. Yeah, they don't do that no more. The 2 DLC packs quests that came in later, yeah, they're sitting there in the main quest area for you. But that's it. You can still have access to that. You fully have access to them from the start of the game. I could walk up to them right now and do their level 90 quest. I would do terribly at it, but I can do it. So there's no reason to restrict the flight, which I think is fine, is a little bit annoying. And the other thing is that the only different type of quest they really have in the game, outside of beating guys up and chasing people through different zones and beating them up, is they do have a Find Dragon Balls quest. But it's one quest that takes place over a single map. There are 3 different maps that this quest occurs on, but they just repeat over and over and over and over again. And you have to repeat these quests to get access to all the things like higher stat chances for your character, to where you can go over 100 through leveling. And Namekians have to do it to get their racial transformation, and you need to do it to get like better wishes on the Dragon Balls that actually you randomly get that are items in the game that will let you make a wish, but they are not related to the quest at all. The quest is just basically find 3 Dragon Balls, or find 6 Dragon Balls, or find 7 Dragon Balls, while there's a bunch of guys fighting and trying to stop you. And repeat this 1,000 times. And that is the extent of the quest. They managed to make finding Dragon Balls the thing that started the whole series off, the thing that gave this series its roots. They managed to make finding Dragon Balls the most god-awful, dull experience in the friggin' entire game. You detest getting the calls to go do the quest to find the Dragon Balls. They're nothing but a point of frustration and annoyance. And to me, that's terrible. I mean, you've got all the time and space that you're messing around with in here. They couldn't have had like, oh look, Emperor Pilaf ended up getting the Dragon Balls and hiding them over here. Go explore, like, you know, his castle and find where the Dragon Balls are hidden and fight, you know, Mai or like a super suit or something to get to the Dragon Balls. Like, made it like exploration and neat and cool. Instead, they just went with the most generic and dull thing as possible. And the thing is, they do dub all over the original Dragon Ball in this game, because you have trainers from everywhere. You have Yamcha as a trainer. You have Krillin as a trainer. You have freaking well, I don't want to spoil any of the trainers for you, but you get trainers from Z, start of Z, all the way through Super, and there's no Master Roshi. Master Roshi does not show up as a trainer. You're the first trainer, the first person who taught Goku, besides Grandpa Gohan, the first real martial arts master that I officially trained under, and you don't even get him. You can't even choose him. So instead, you're stuck with doing things like slapping around Yamcha a little bit, which, admittedly, it's always fun to slap around Yamcha, but still, you can understand why that's a point of frustration for any Dragon Ball fan. It's just it's like they have no respect at all for the classic Dragon Ball, and that to me is a major disappointment, a major slap to the face. Though they do make up for it with a little bit with Yamcha's first lesson, because Yamcha's first instruction is awesome. Fake death, that's right.
Let's get to it. Don't worry about me. Give me all you've got.
That's Yamcha's super move right there. He pretends like he's dead, because he figured no one would be suspicious of a dead Yamcha. And that's freaking hilarious. And all you really have to do is slap Yamcha around a little bit and you'll be fine.
Pretty good, you know.
And let's see if I can get him to come back here to do the move again. It does start off a combo, so I'll give it that. But yeah, that's his first move he teaches you. So they know how to be clever. They know how to be funny. They know how to be get the Dragon Ball sense of humor. But there's no like.
Guess I have to for the sake of the whole world.
There's no honest love for the actual Dragon Ball series or the characters. And like I said, for me, that's very disappointing. But overall, are you going to have fun with this game? Yes. I've had a lot of fun with it. As much as I'm like knocking it and pointing out the shortcomings of it, it looks good. It's a lot of fun to play. It does get a little repetitive. You're especially going to find it repetitive if you've played the original Xenoverse. It does have some interesting story elements to it. I mean, nothing groundbreaking, but it serves its purpose, and it definitely will have you have some moments where you're saying, oh wow, that's really, really cool, and really, really enjoying yourself. So yeah, is this game worth owning? Absolutely. Is it worth owning for $60? Absolutely not. I'd say if it was for 30, go ahead and grab it. Hands down, worth your 30 bucks. Worth the full price? Nah, not so much. But I think it's a good effort. I hope that we'll see better stuff if there's another Xenoverse game or the next Dragon Ball game to come out. Might do a little bit more. It is a really cool concept, once again, that you get to create your own character and bring them into the Dragon Ball universe. And you can make them your own, set up your own moveset, set up your own gear, and things like that. I think that's awesome. But yeah, ultimately in the end, it's a flawed title, but it's a good title. I'd give it 3 out of 5 pancakes, and those are my thoughts on it. If you like this review, please make sure you like and subscribe. If you have friends you think would enjoy it, go ahead and share it with them. And also, feel free to check out my Patreon. There's a link at the end of the video. My goal is going to be to build a rig that will actually allow me to stream, so I can interact a little better with all you fine folks. Yeah, so link's going to be there. Feel free to check it out. Even if you cannot financially donate, feel free to share it as well. That would also be a great deal of help to me, and I much appreciate it. But hey, until my next video comes out, I hope you all have a great one, and I will see you then.